But now it's time for the ultimate cake cookie, chocolate peanut butter whoopie pies. Before I actually start making the whoopie pies themselves, I actually have to do something different. When you're baking whoopie pies, you want to have smooth tops to them. The trick is to preheat your baking pans. I've got a 375 oven, and I'll pop these into the oven while I'm making my batter. Then, scooping the whoopie pies onto the tray warms up the batter slightly so you get those perfect smooth tops. Now I can get right into baking my whoopie pies. And these are the cakiest of the 3 cake cookies I've made. I'll start with 1 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour and a cup of sugar. And the whoopie pies get their color and rich chocolate flavor from Dutch processed cocoa powder. 3/4 cup. Now for baking powder and baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of each. And lastly, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I'll sift this all into my mixing bowl. I have 1/2 cup of butter that's at room temperature and cut into pieces. I'll mix the butter into the dry ingredients using the paddle attachment on low speed. There we go. I have 3/4 cup of milk, and I'll add to that 1/2 cup of sour cream. When you're baking with sour cream, it's important to use full fat, not low fat or fat-free. That simply liquefies and essentially turns to water when it's heated. I'll break in an egg and also add 2 teaspoons of vanilla. I'll give this a little stir just to blend it, and then I can add it all at once to my dry ingredients. I'll start this on low speed and then increase the speed to medium to build some structure into the batter. It almost looks like chocolate frosting, but believe me, it's cake batter. All right, now I have to grab my trays from the oven. Here we go. My cake cookies are progressing to bigger and bigger sizes. First the little pfeffernuss, then the spice cookies. Now I'm going for the monster whoopie pies. So I have a larger scoop, but the same technique. Scrape the batter against the side of the bowl so it's nice and level, and drop this on the tray. This recipe makes 20 cake cookies, which once assembled will make 10 whoopie pies. Now, these are ready for the oven, and they take about 15 minutes to bake. That oven is at 375, and don't forget, your trays are hot. Beautiful. And here they are with those lovely smooth tops. My chocolate cake cookies are now cooled and ready for the peanut butter filling. So then I can call them whoopie pies. But I'm not going to stop there. I can show you how to turn a whoopie pie into a plated restaurant-style dessert. But you're gonna have to sit tight for that because I wanna make the peanut butter filling first. Let me finish by sifting 2 cups of icing sugar. I've got a cup of soft unsalted butter, and I'm going to add to that a cup of peanut butter. I do prefer to use unsweetened peanut butter in this recipe. That way it balances out with the sweetness of the icing sugar. I'll beat the peanut butter and the butter until they're nice and smooth. I'll give the bowl a scrape. And now I'll add the 2 cups of sifted icing sugar, as well as a teaspoon of vanilla. I'll start the mixer on low speed until the icing sugar is blended, and then increase the speed to make the filling nice and fluffy. I've got a piping bag with a large star tip, and that's what I'll use to pipe in the filling. To assemble the whoopie pies, you want to peel one of the cake cookies off the parchment, and then pipe that peanut butter filling evenly around. And then you top it with a second, gently squishing it together. That way it stays in place. If you find it easier, you can put the cookie down on a work surface and then pipe around. It's so easy to imagine bringing a platter of these to the table at the end of a meal. Oh my goodness, everyone would just jump right in, just like little kids. But why stop at just a whoopie pie? You can easily turn this dessert into a restaurant-style plated dessert with the addition of a warm sauce. So what do you make? You have to channel your inner Elvis and think bananas. I'm gonna show you how to make bananas Foster so quickly and easily, you'll just be hooked. You melt a 1/4 cup of butter in a saute pan over high heat and add to that 1/2 cup of dark brown sugar. I stir the butter and brown sugar until both are melted and bubbling. Once you start seeing bubbles, then you squeeze in the juice of 1/2 lemon. That liquefies the brown sugar. Now I add a pinch of cinnamon and 2 bananas that have been sliced up, just to warm them. So I'll grab warm bananas and this fantastic sauce with, of course, your whoopie pie